It's time for another Recharge Rescue episode. Recharge Rescue is a series I have here on State of Charge where I travel to electric vehicle owners' homes and fix their EV charging problems. These problems can range from a failed charger to a failed outlet to a job where an electrician improperly installed the whole circuit. Whatever the case, if you have a problem with your electric vehicle charging equipment at home, drop me a message in the comment section of this video and perhaps I'll come to your house and fix your problem. For this Recharge Rescue episode, I'm going to be flying to Portland, Oregon in about an hour, or actually Hillsboro. I'm flying into Portland, but the problem is in Hillsboro, Oregon, and I'm going to be visiting Braydon's house, where his NEMA 1450 outlet melted and went on fire. They actually had to call the fire department. That's how bad it was. And thankfully, Braydon had SimpliSafe, which is an alert system, a smoke detector in his garage, detected the smoke and alerted him while he was at work because his partner was actually at home sleeping right above the garage. He was able to wake up, go downstairs, shut the circuit breaker off, and the fire department came and made sure everything that was safe. So I'm going to be heading to Portland tonight, and tomorrow morning, first thing, we're going to fix the problem. I've hired a local Qmerit contractor. They're going to come out, diagnose the issue, we're going to fix the problem, and get Braydon charging his 4 electric vehicles again. So let's get into it. All right, so I'm here at Braydon's house and looking at the carnage, and yeah, this is pretty bad. This is really melted. One thing that I did notice, they did use copper wiring, which was good, but I can still see Leviton written on the bottom. This is one of those really cheap $10 Leviton outlets, and these things just cannot withstand the duty cycle of electric vehicle charging. They're gonna melt eventually. If you got one of these in your garage, get it out as soon as you can, because I guarantee you, it's just a matter of time. Whether it lasts for a few months or a year or so, it will melt. Now, that's if you're charging at relatively full power. If you've got your EV dialed down to like 16 amps, maybe even 24 amps, you might be okay. But if you're pulling 40 amps through one of these cheap Leviton outlets, it's going to melt. 100% guaranteed. It's just a matter of time. And you know, you could have something catastrophic here. Braydon's really lucky that they had the alert system and found out that there was a problem in the garage, got the fire department here before something catastrophic happened. So here's the ChargePoint Home Flex that they were using, and you can see the plug here is pretty much charred. We are going to reuse this unit. There's nothing wrong with it. We're going to remove the plug. The Qmerit electrician is going to hardwire it now, because this is going to be hardwired. We're going to run a whole new circuit right from the panel over there. We're going to mount this right below the panel and hardwire it. So we're eliminating the whole problem of the NEMA 1450 plugs. Now, there are good NEMA 1450 plugs that you could use. There's EV rated, higher quality plugs, but why even introduce that again? We're just going to directly hardwire it. We're going to torque everything to the right torque ratings, and Braydon's going to be good to charge. So with that said, let's get the process going. Let's get this fixed, and we're also going to just take this all out. There's going to be nothing here anymore. We're going to pull the wire, get rid of everything to do with this bad circuit. So let's get going. All right, so I'm here with the homeowner, Braydon. Braydon, thank you for agreeing to do this. So how did you first realize you had a problem here?
Yeah, thanks for coming, Tom. So I was actually at work and I got an alert from our SimpliSafe that there was smoke detected in the garage. I immediately called my partner, who was asleep upstairs. Our master is right above. And he ran down the stairs while he was on the phone with me, opened the garage and said it was filled with smoke and what looked like a flame at the outlet. I told him to hang up. He called 911. He flipped the breaker to the outlet and pulled our Equinox out of the garage as fast as he can. And the fire department got here and the garage was still pretty smoky, and the flame had gone out since he flipped the breaker. But I was on my way home from work after this, and it was pretty scary.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is you said that he had to turn the breaker off. You know, and this is what I hear time and time again. The breakers don't trip when the circuit's on fire, when the outlet's on fire. When these NEMA 1450s melt and go on fire, they just continue to burn. And you said he was sleeping right above us?
Yeah, our bedroom's right above.
So, I mean, this could have been catastrophic. And I noticed when I came in, it's the Leviton. Now, there's a bunch of brands that, I don't want to just pick on Leviton, but they're the most popular brand. There's a bunch of brands that sell the really cheap NEMA 1450 outlets that will melt eventually. And you all had also told me that this is a new subdivision here. This whole area, and I can tell it's a beautiful area. As we were driving in, it was, you know, all new homes and everything. They all have a NEMA 1450 outlet in the garage, and they're all that.
Yeah, this is the biggest subdivision in Oregon. Every house is solar and EV ready. So every house has the wiring for an EV in the garage, the same outlet in every house.
And the builder that did this whole subdivision here, I'm sure they bought the cheapest NEMA 1450 outlets. They didn't care, they just plopped them in. Yeah. So, I mean, public service announcement, you know, if you bought your home or your condo or whatever and it came with a NEMA 1450, take a good hard look at it. Chances are the electrical contractor saved money, and it's a lot of money. A good NEMA 1450 outlet is going to cost $50, $60, $70. The cheap ones cost $10. Think about if you're putting in 300 or 400 homes, what $50 or $60 savings per resident. And you know, when the contracts get put out to put these in, they don't specify, you know, a certain outlet. They just say you need a NEMA 1450 outlet. So they do the least expensive way, as builders do. It's a business. I kind of understand that they do that. And they probably don't even know that this is such a hazard, because how would you know if you weren't in this industry? It's a 50 amp outlet. It should be able to handle 50 amps. And it can in most applications, just not EV charging, because the duty cycle is so stressful on that. So tell us a little bit about your cars. You said an Equinox EV was charging. I see you've got like a fleet here. What's going on?
So we have an Equinox EV. It's a 2025. We have a 2024 rear-wheel drive Blazer EV. I have a 22 Model X, and then my partner has a 2018 Model 3. We do Turo for both of our Teslas, and we lease the Chevy EVs.
Okay, so you're all in on EVs.
We are, yeah. We're pretty familiar. We've been driving EVs for over 5 years.
So the outlet got a workout, but now you're not going to have an outlet.
Yeah.
You know, I always, when I do these recharge rescue episodes, I always ask the homeowner, what do you want? And I'm surprised that sometimes people say, no, I still want an outlet. Just put in a good quality one, make sure it's all torqued properly, and and that's what we prefer. And I do what the homeowner wants. I try to push them towards hardwiring, but you were all in on hardwiring. You're like, I'm done with outlets. Let's hardwire the charger. So we're actually going to use the same ChargePoint Home Flex. The unit is fine. Just the end of the plug was burned off. We're gonna disconnect the plug. Pete, the electrician, the Qmerit contractor, is going to mount it right under your service panel. It's the easiest, closest way of doing it. And then we're just gonna eliminate that whole circuit. That's gonna be gone.
Perfect.
Okay, well, let Pete get his work done, and we'll take a look at it when we're done.
Cool.
State of Charge is powered by Qmerit, North America's premier installer of electric vehicle charging equipment. After I've helped you decide which charger to buy, follow the link in the description of my videos and have Qmerit install it. And if you do follow that link, Qmerit will waive the $150 installation deposit. But this is an exclusive offer for State of Charge followers. So in order to get that offer, you must follow the link in the description of my videos. All right, so I'm here with Pete from Apex Mechanical. They're the local Qmerit contractor. And if you follow my channel, you might recognize Pete. That's because back about 6 months ago, 7 months ago, I did a recharge rescue in Camas, Washington, which is about an hour from here. And that's in Apex Mechanical Service District. So Pete did that job also. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's great to see you too.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about what we did here today. You saw what it looked like when you came. There was a that burned NEMA 1450 outlet that's gone now. You pulled everything out of it.
Yes.
So go over what we did.
So we demoed that, got rid of it out of the wall, so you just have to patch it up and then it'll be clean. And then we went ahead and took the 50 amp breaker out.
That's the 50 amp breaker for the NEMA 1450.
We upsized it to 60. So we reset the charger to 48 amps, so 125% of that. Relabeled the panel so it's easier to read and more clear. And we used a bigger size wire.
Yeah, and while you were doing this, I was like, are you sure that's the right wire? Because I thought this was Romex, and you're not supposed to use number 6 Romex for a 48 amp charger. And you know, not that I'm no electrician, but I've been around them enough to know that that's not what you're supposed to use. So Pete Turner looked at me, he's like, come on, Tom, I know what I'm doing. So explain, what is this?
So this is type SE wire. So it actually has number 6 THHN number 6s inside of it. So it's good to go into a crawl space, a wall, an attic, and you treat it like Romex, but it's better than Romex.
I know it doesn't have that paper insulation inside of it, I don't think, right? Inside the jacket, I think that's...
It had a little bit? Okay. No, not paper, but it's a plastic like mesh.
Yeah, because so I thought the paper, like insulation, was the problem inside of Romex, is that wasn't rated for the continuous load. So that's why this looks like Romex, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. And so what we did is we ran the wire down the wall just a little bit. We had to hog a little hole out because ran right into a 2x4, which is always fun. Which is
what always happens.
And so we went into the back of the charger and hardwired it straight in. Yeah. So it's actually more efficient and you'll get a better charge out of that.
Yeah, and for those commenting, why did they put it there? Well, this is the code. You have to be 18 inches off the floor. This is 25 inches to the bottom off the floor. And Braydon said, no, I'm fine with that. It's actually in a good location for where I charge. This is a weird area here. Trying to get the wires around this and everything. Of course, Pete could have done it. But Braydon was like, no, just put it right there on the wall. We're happy with this because when I pull the car in, I could swing it around. It's right in the front of the ChargePoint, the Equinox or the Blazer, which is what they pull and charge in here. So that's why it's located where it is here. But I mean, it's pretty straightforward. This is about as easy. You're in and out of here in like an hour.
Yeah, it's about as simple as you can get for an install. Is right next to the panel, and it's just a 1-for-1 swap with the breaker, so you didn't even have to take any. And now
Braydon's in the background resetting the charger to so that he could keep his ChargePoint app, but now he can set it to deliver 48 amps, whereas before he was charging at 40 amps. And now we're safe charging, hardwired at 48.
Yep. So he's all good to go. And actually, the green light's on for the Wi-Fi on the side there, so that indicates that he has it fully connected and it's fully operational.
Good to go. Pete, thanks again. I appreciate it. You know, if there's another problem in this area, I'm going to ask Apex to send you out again. You always seem to take care of it and do a good job. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, Braydon, so you're done. You're installed. And I noticed you already paired it with your ChargePoint app, and you actually had to delete the unit and then reinstall it, because once you commission the ChargePoint Home Flex on a 50 amp circuit, it won't let you charge it higher than that. So you had to delete it and then add it back and everything. So you're good to go. You okay with this here? I just want to double check.
Yeah, I actually think this is a really convenient location because we commute with both of our Chevy EVs and they have a charge port on the front driver's side. So this will just go right in front of the wheels and plug right in and then dock right back up when we're done. It'll be perfect for pulling into the garage. Yeah. And then our Teslas, we can back into our driveway, and it's on the perfect side for that too. So,
it's right here, so you're okay. But I meant the height-wise, it's okay that it's lower than what you know. Yeah. This is just kind of like a weird location to put it. We could have gotten the wires up and around, but you were like, no, put it right here. This is fine. So I
Totally.
just want to make
this
sure you're
is
cool with
perfect.
that.
Yeah.
And I tell you, while Pete was doing his work, we walked around the neighborhood. It's beautiful development here. And in addition to the solar that powers these houses, I notice a lot of your neighbors have EVs. And do you think they're charging from the same builder installed NEMA 1450 outlets?
Yeah, they all have the same outlet, and a majority of the houses here drive EVs. So it's definitely a danger that is present in a lot of these houses.
Yeah, I wish there was a way to let everybody know. It's like, I want to make like a flyer and send it around the whole.
Yeah, I'll post your video in our neighborhood group. We have a big Facebook group where most people are active in there. So we'll post it in there and see what people think.
That's good. Just to let people know that, you know, that standard outlet that the builder installed really just, it's unfortunate it's not up to the duty. This is a case of, you know, technology advancing quicker than, you know, industry, where, you know, for years those NEMA 1450 outlets are fine if you use them in your on your electric dryer, on your electric range. People had them, you know, for pool pumps and things like that, and they were fine for that. But the duty cycle of electric vehicle charging, where you're pulling the maximum the circuit can handle 40 amps for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. You have multiple EVs. So you're probably charging a car, pulling it out, pulling another one in, charging it. So this outlet got a lot of use. How old was this outlet?
Only 3 years old. So this house was built in 2022.
Yeah. So it lasted 3 years and that was it, and it melted. So you know, they will not last. Like I said, I've had people send me pictures of their outlets that are less than a year old, like 6 or 7 months old, and that probably was because the electrician didn't torque the connections properly. Yours were probably torqued fine. The outlet failed, but if they don't torque all the connections to the right torque rating, it's going to loosen up quicker, and that's when you get the arcing. And that's when the outlets melt and fail. So the only thing that's left for us to do now is for you to pull in your EV and one of your 4 EVs and plug her in and make sure this guy works.
Cool.
All right. All right, let's see how it goes. It's got the blue light, and same as my Equinox, you get that beep and the green blinking light, so you're good to go. You're
Sweet.
charging.
Awesome.
And hopefully it's charging at the full 48 amps. You should check your app and make sure that it pulls up that, but I'm sure it's gonna. You recommissioned the app, told it was on a 60 amp circuit, so now you're good to go. So now you're gonna actually charge a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
And you might need that with 4
That'll be
electric
nice.
vehicles in one family. Listen, thank you very much
Thank
for
you so
this.
much, Tom.
I'm glad. No, thank you, because this is a public service. People, every time I do one of these videos, people see it and then they fix their problem. You know, I tell everybody, if you think you're not sure about your NEMA 1450 outlet, have an electrician come and inspect it. If you don't want to have an electrician, if you feel like you're handy enough, shut your circuit off that feeds that outlet. Make sure you know it's that circuit. And just take the cover off and look inside. It'll be obvious if there's charring, if there's melting, if anything looks like it's bad. Leave the circuit off, get an electrician to come in and either install a EV rated NEMA 1450 outlet, or it's really better to just have your charger hardwired like Braydon did here. He's done now. He's never gonna have another problem. You're not gonna have any other problems here with your charging as long as you own the car.
Sweet.
All right, well, Braydon and his partner are happily charging their electric vehicles again, and I'm back home. I had a chance to look at the carnage. Take a look at that NEMA 1450 outlet. Jeez, this thing was melted. And look at the box. These plastic boxes, you know, they can contain a flame for just so long, not that long. And you can see the bottom here, it's really, really melted and burned through. So some wiring. As I mentioned, it was copper wire, which is good. Aluminum wire expands and contracts 30% more than copper. So we see when people use aluminum wire on these outlets, they're much more likely to fail faster because of that expansion and contraction. The screws back out, even if they're torqued properly. They'll back out, and then you get arcing, and that's when you get your fire. And then last here's the plug from the ChargePoint Home Flex. Now, it wasn't the ChargePoint's problem. This was a failed outlet. I'm convinced of it. I would bet that even the connections were probably torqued properly. It's just these outlets, these cheap $10 NEMA 1450 outlets, cannot handle electric vehicle charging. You can handle it for a certain amount of time, for a certain amount of hours of charging, but if you charge frequently, like Braydon does, they have 4 electric vehicles, they're charging a lot, this is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. The one thing that I will mention about the ChargePoint Home Flex is some of the new electric vehicles now have temperature sensors in the plug. And if they hit a certain temperature, it shuts off charging. That's a great feature, and I've added it to my charger rater. If you're familiar with this channel, I review charging equipment, and I have a charger rater, which is a point-based system to rate how good the chargers are. And I've just added a new line item, and that's for temperature sensor in the plug, because this is becoming more and more of an issue. And you know, we're going to reward the chargers that have a temperature sensor in their plug and penalize the ones that don't. So yeah, here's where we're at. Braydon's very lucky, his partner's very lucky that this wasn't worse. What really troubles me, and we talked about it in the video, is that all of the homes in that subdivision have NEMA 1450 outlets. They were built, they all have solar electric, they're all EV ready in the garage with a NEMA 1450 outlet. They all have those cheap $10 outlets. So Braydon said that he is going to post on his Facebook group, he's going to let local residents know that there's a problem there, you know, and I mean, I may even contact the local fire department or the township and see if there's somehow they could be notified of this, that to understand that they have a potential serious fire risk in their garage, and you know, to deal with it before you know, catastrophe hits. Because you know, and as we walked around the development, a lot of cars there had EVs. As Braydon said, a lot of the neighbors have electric vehicles. So I would think many of them just bought a plug-in charger and plug it in, like, whoop, we already got the outlet. I bet some upgraded and put a nice hardwired, you know, permanently mounted charger on the wall, but I bet a lot of them are using plug-in units because they were all set up for it. It might have been part of the reason why they moved into that, because we got solar, we got EV charging, all that's taken care of. This is a good place for us to live and park our EVs, but it's a problem. So I'm going to follow up on this and see if we can't somehow get the people in that whole subdivision notified that if they are going to use that circuit for electric vehicle charging, they need to upgrade it first. And hopefully we can get some traction on that before another person has a problem. All right, well, that's it for this episode of Recharge Rescue. If you have a problem charging your electric vehicle at home, if your electrician did a poor job, if you get a charger failure, something, anything along your circuit, your EV charging circuit fails, let me know about it, because we may feature you on Recharge Rescue for the next episode. And listen, if this is your first time here at State of Charge, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming electric vehicle news and reviews, as well as my Recharge Rescue series. And as always, thanks for watching.